All right, hey, welcome to HIT. This is High Intensity Tactics with Chris Cicchinelli, and today we're going to be talking about everything NFL. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to talk everything NFL. We're going to talk about the youngest quarterback in Super Bowl history to be named the MVP, Patrick Mahomes. I know that there's a lot of KC fans that listen to this podcast, and I want to give a big, huge shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs for winning. But more than anything, I want to give a big shout out to Patrick Mahomes that at the end, when he was sitting there and he had the trophy, the Lombardi trophy, and they said, Patrick, where are you going? I'm going to Disney World. That's amazing, right? Think about that. From the littlest of Little League football, this person had been practicing and doing the reps and doing the passes and doing the different things that they needed to do to get themselves to that one moment. The one moment. And what he basically said in that time frame, and I thought this was great, I just try to be the best that I can be. Well, shit. I just try to be the best I can be. That's what we talk about every day in business. Just try to be the best you possibly can be at what you're trying to do at that time or what you're trying to get accomplished. I mean, think about that. I'm just trying to be the best I can be. He's telling himself over and over and over again, be the best, be the best, be the best. He's not saying, you know what? You stink, you stink, you stink. No, because at the end of the day, he understands the brain and the way we talk to ourselves is so important, right? Man, I just think it's important because you have to understand it's this emotional intelligence that we have to have about our lives and about ourselves, right? It's the ability to understand and manage our emotions is important when it comes to emotional intelligence. How do we sit back and we say, okay, I understand that I might have the highest of highs and I have to have the lowest of lows, but how do I manage those? How do I manage those low emotions, those days I'm not feeling good? And I'm thinking through that with him. I mean, think about this. The first half of that game was not going his way. It wasn't going their way at all. And you know what? He could have given up because he wasn't hitting his passes. He wasn't, doing all the things that, he had been doing for the past, 4 or 5 games. And then next thing you know, he comes out. It's third and fourth quarter. He scores 3 touchdowns or whatever it was in the last quarter. How does he not, get so high when they're so close, right? Like, how does he have to manage those emotions? I think it was important. Mahomes could have got caught up in the comparisons too, like the comparisons of all these other quarterbacks, the comparisons of, okay, what was Garoppolo doing that day, or the comparisons of quarterbacks prior to him. But he didn't. He just said, I want to be the best I can be. I'm just trying to be the best I can be. I'm not Brett Favre. I'm not Dan Marino. I'm not Steve Young. I'm Patrick Mahomes. And I think sometimes we see that even on Salesforce, right? Like you try to be a person that you admire, you see, you're like, gosh, I want to have a business just like that person, or I just want to get to the top just like that person. Or you might be a corporation listening to this and you look at other corporations, you're trying to compare yourself to that one. Why don't you just be the best you could be? Because you don't know what it took to get that other person where they're at today. That's important. Focus on others can foster negative energy. They can also create discouragement. I don't want to focus on others. I did that in the beginning of my career, and I'm telling you right now, yes, I think it pissed me off more than it did anything when I would focus on my competition. Would it make me work harder? Yeah, it would make me work harder, but it didn't make me work smarter. It was just making me work harder. And I think when I stopped worrying about my competition, stopped worrying about the people that are out there, I didn't have this angst that I always had. Like, oh, well, look at their pay plan, or look at this. We got to change this, or we're going to change that. Because sometimes what happens is people would watch their competition. They try to emulate their competition. And what they find is then they find themselves in a massive hurt, like the 2 companies that I took over. Same thing. They try to keep up with the things that we were doing. I didn't know that I was watching some of the things they were doing. And, in the beginning, I would try to change and we would try to do. And then I said, screw that. Why am I doing that? No way. But they kept it on, and they kept changing it every time we would change something. And guess what happened? Yep, you know what happened. They came. We worked with it. We bought them. You can't focus on other people. And you know what? You can't focus. Like when you're looking at this, I was super impressed that the way Patrick Mahomes handled it. It's the same thing about this. And Teddy Roosevelt said the comparison is the thief of joy. That's why when you look at it, I don't think any of us should sit back and go, this person's life is better than that person, or this person's game plan is better than the other person's game plan. So the next time you start comparing yourself, sit down and refocus on your own goals. Refocus on what it is that you're trying to get accomplished. Make your emotions work for you, man. Make them work for you, not against you. That's how you're going to go out there. That's how you're going to win. That's how, if you want to be that next Super Bowl MVP like Patrick Mahomes, or the own MVP in your own business, the own MVP in your own family, the own MVP in your own network. Just remember to be the best you possibly could be today. This is HIT, High Intensity Tactics. Have a great day, everybody. Remember, live life by design, not by default.